Sorry?
Yeah, it's showing on there.
Yes.
So,
Oh, yeah, they just must have posted that.
yeah. Funny how that works.
Yeah, I know.
Are the mics turned up?
Yeah, they haven't been touched since last time. So
Okay.
should work. Should work well.
The thing is, there's more people. Might want to.
Check.
I still want to get chairs. I'm typing in the chair.
Oh, yeah.
There.
You guys in there.
This is what happens when you don't move movies, when you know there's going to be a big attendance. Unlock its right out. Not in jail.
Plus, I think you're good right there.
they are with their programming and some points of pride that they have, which they should. I just want to reiterate, it is the administration's intention to recommend the charter be renewed, and it is the board's intention to renew it. The official vote on that will be next week. So I know there might be a lot of people that want to comment. Once we're done with this, we will ask if there's any clarifying questions. But we do intend, we've done a lot of work, I know Dr. Hay, he has worked with the administration at SCSC in getting where we are tonight, and we do intend to recommend this next week. We have a couple I's to dot and T's to cross, I believe, Dr. Hay, right? But, we intend to recommend this for next week, and the board intends to approve it. So, having said that, I'm going to turn it to Dr. Hay, and he'll take it from there.
Thank you, Dr. Gallagher. Good evening, everyone. So I'll shortly introduce the administration from the charter school, who's here to present on their renewal application and some material supporting their application. Just the process, we started it last year. It was a lengthy process, and they did have to do a lot of work in order to fulfill our expectations for renewing the public charter here in our schools. So beginning last spring, we started meeting with those folks. They started developing their application, and over the summer they put together the full application, which is an amazing number of applicants that we've been reviewing since they formally submitted back in October. A few weeks ago, we had the opportunity for members of our school board to go over and visit the charter school. I've been there a few times, so we've had a really collaborative process. Like Dr. Gallagher mentioned, our intent for this evening is this is an informational only session. It's for SCSC to present some facts about their mission, their achievements, and their plans for the next 5 years. And then it's our intent to make a recommendation to the board at the next week's action meeting for approval of the 5-year charter. So I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer and Janine and Kelly, administration from the charter school, to do a presentation on their program.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, we are the directors from Souderton Charter School Collaborative. I am Janine Dunn.
Jennifer Roswell.
Kelly Benzia. Jenny Marion, our board president, along with Kevin McKenna, our lawyer, is also present here, as well as many of our supporters. So thank you for coming. As we seek renewal of our charter, we appreciate the opportunity to share with you an overview of our mission, some highlights from the past 5 years, and our plans for the next 5 years.
25 years ago, our founders, Wendy Ormsby and John Penny, realized that their daughter Christine was facing a path of isolation in special education. They realized that no matter how hard they tried, there would not be a place for Christine with other children her age, like there would be for their son Mark, for whom things came easier. And so they envisioned a new and different place, where their two children, Mark and Christine, two very different kids with very different educational needs, could learn side by side and be valued and known. And with that, the Souderton Charter School Collaborative, a K-8 school in the heart of Souderton Borough, was born. Wendy and John's fierce love for their children is at the heart of SCSC, and it's the reason that our school exists today. It's a place where every child's strengths, challenges, and unique spirit are honored and celebrated. Wendy and John's innovation and determination created a place where students and their families can choose to learn and grow together. This choice is grounded in the tenets of SCSC's mission and vision. Inclusive, individualized, and flexible groupings. Before the start of each year, students and their families are invited in to meet with the teaching teams to discuss goals, passions, strengths, areas of need, and to develop a plan that will help to guide each student's academic journey at SCSC. Hands-on learning experiences. Experiential learning opportunities at SCSC ensure equitable access to content and understandings for all learners. Strong family and community partnerships. Connections with families and community members from far and wide serve to enrich the educational experiences of SCSC students through meaningful learning opportunities, while also benefiting the community as we engage in volunteer activities. And finally, at the heart of it all, collaborative leadership and adult learning. Distributed leadership, shared decision-making, and team teaching, as well as a commitment to lifelong learning by all stakeholders, students and staff alike, lead to continual growth and resiliency, which are the keys to SCSC's vibrant learning community.
Before I start, you won't want me to acknowledge him, but I just wanted to also acknowledge our founder, John Kenny, is sitting here, so thank you, John. So the highlights and achievements, just a few things that we wanted to share. On March 20, 2020, SCSC was online with students 5 days after Montgomery County schools were closed by the pandemic. These efforts provided a sense of normalcy for students and support for our families. Real-time instruction and assessments continued for the remainder of that school year. On September 8, 2020, SCSC opened its doors for in-person instruction along with Zoom and camera technologies to provide both remote and live instructional experiences for our students. At the start of that school year, 66% of our families chose in-person instruction, and by the end of the year, 85% of our kids were in person. In January 2022, WDO, Night of Service, was created to honor SCSC's visionary, Wendy Ormsby, and her passion for supporting community projects. It embodies Margaret Mead's quote, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." Hard work pays off. I put all these hashtags up and I forgot to say them. Hard work pays off. SCSC rankings by niche.com in 2022, 2023, and 2024 put us as the #1 charter school in Pennsylvania. In addition, our teachers have been recognized at both the elementary and middle school as being the #1 teachers in the state. On November 6th, we are honored. I made this presentation. On November 6th, 2022, SCSC received the Extraordinary Achievement School Award at the Teacher-Powered National Schools Conference. Our middle school is again a school to watch. On December 6, 2023, SCSC was redesignated as a Don Eichhorn Schools to Watch Middle School by the Pennsylvania Middle Level Educators, PMLE. This was SCSC's 4th designation. Volunteerism builds empathy and gratitude. Since 2022-2023, 100% of our students have volunteered at one of our community partners. Generations of Indian Valley Senior Center, the Mitzvah Circle, Possibilities, Zion Mennonite Church, Souderton Mennonite Home, Keystone Opportunity Center, and the Indian Valley Public Library. Thank you, Pennsylvania legislators. During the 2022 through 2024 school year, PCCD grants have been used to enhance safety and security on our campus. Our threat assessment team and our student assistance programs were expanded to support needs across the school.
I would like to take this opportunity to also share with you some plans for our future, as we enter into our next cycle year of the charter renewal process. As a small and nimble organization, we aim to continually influence the educational landscape through our child-centered, fully inclusive, and hands-on learning environment. Over the next 5 years, we will work with universities and colleges to provide a student-teaching partnership for future teachers. We will evolve our ways to best teach content, address learning styles, and implement project work to ensure our students receive a rigorous and supportive education. We will provide our teachers with opportunities to be involved in distributed leadership and shared decision-making, so their voices help guide our work and to keep their level of engagement and commitment to SCSC strong. We will increase students' problem-solving abilities and critical thinking skills in mathematics through additional supports and creative instructional strategies. We will continue to build community connections and collaborate with key stakeholders, including the Souderton Area School District. And we will work together with families to help students become safe, responsible, and productive digital citizens and consumers. We would like to thank you again for providing us with this opportunity to highlight some of the things that Souderton Charter School Collaborative as we seek our renewal for our charter, and we would certainly be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown. So again, Mr. Landis, administration has been fully satisfied with the application process and documentation that they submitted. We'll get prepared next week to recommend approval of the new charter. Turn it over to you if there are any questions about the presentation tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Hay. Thank you for your presentation. I was one of the members of the board that got to go on the tour a month ago. I was very impressed with the interaction with the students that helped with the tour. We're excited to get, I think, 2 of the 3 of them into the high school next year with us, and 1 is going off to a private school. But we have to keep that in mind that these 8th graders come join our high school, and we are all part of the same community here. Obviously, the collaborative efforts with the parents and the parents' involvement is key with the charter school, and that's showing itself here tonight with everybody that's come out to support. So I know there's been some history here, but I think we have the works in place to move this forward smoothly. So I don't have any questions for you guys, but I'm going to pass it on to the rest of my committee and to the board. Thank you. Roger?
Well, thank you for the presentation. And yours goes by fast, doesn't it? Just one quick question. What percentage of your students that reside in Souderton come to Souderton for high school? Approximately.
Yeah, approximately 90%, 95%, and nothing in high school. And it depends on the year, kind of fluctuates, but I would definitely say.
Thank you. And nice presentation. I liked it. I enjoyed the 2 students who came here last month much better. It was very nice. Thank you.
I was also one of the board members who went to go to the school, and I have to say, I was impressed with the enthusiasm with the staff and with the kids. These kids are so happy at this school, and we had 3 kids that kind of helped around and walked around and answered some questions, and they loved where they go to school, and you can tell they liked being collaborative, they liked, 7th and 8th graders working together, and they liked kind of being paired up with buddies and really doing something unique and different, whether it was the plants in the classroom, their gym class seemed so much fun, they were doing but I was impressed, so I appreciated you answered a lot of our questions when we did the board, so I thank you for that and thank you for your time.
I just want to reiterate Mr. Lance's comments. Preparing the students, to the end so that they're community members, and we do this all together. And if 90% come to the high school, and I do appreciate your comments there, that the transition is always seems to be very smooth. So that goes to your efforts and also for the high school too. So thank you for everything.
Again, great presentation. I was part of the walk again with the rest of the crowd, and to see the changes over my 18 years of what you see being accomplished. Great job.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm supportive of school choice. So, thank you for the presentation. I have a question.
Thank you. Like Jamie said, you have to go to the school at the school. It was my first opportunity to get there, but I think based on what I saw, you are really staying true to your mission, and it's just great to see so many people so passionate about kids and working together, and it's just really great to see. So excited to work with you guys in the future, and just congratulations, and excited to see you guys again. just thinking about one of the paths, I've heard nothing but great things about the charter school when I was there door knocking, when I was running. Every parent I ran into was happy and excited. Yeah.
No questions on the good report?
Yes, thank you for the presentation, and I just have to say, an investment in our students is an investment in all of our future, so thank you for providing that.
Dr. Gallagher, you have a comment?
Yeah, I want to acknowledge, and I'm going to leave for a second, don't be mad at me, Jenny. Years ago, we started on these lunch, I won't call them lunch dates. Lunch meetings at Mars down in Harleysville, and we really started to build a collaborative conversation, professionally and personally, and I hope that continues, Jenny. We're due for one. But working together with Jenny has really helped each side understand each other. So Jenny, I think we're both virtuous of both, and enjoy the friendship.
Thank you, Dr. Gallagher. I will open it up for questions from the audience. Just keep in mind, I think we have excellent schools here in Souderton, or wouldn't be on this board. But as Mr. Formica said, choice is important, and I'm sure every parent here will have a specific reason why they feel that their children is better in charter school, or why it was important for them. So we understand that. I would just again reiterate if we could keep the comment part to your questions on the presentation. We have other things to cover in the agenda tonight. So thank you. Anybody? Yes.
I'm just wondering, thank you for the positive comments. I'm actually very happy and excited for the news tonight. You mentioned dotting i's and crossing t's. I'm wondering if you are at liberty to discuss any of those, or if there's a way the public can have that.
That's still among the attorneys.
I'm sorry.
That's still among the attorneys.
Oh,
Yeah, legally.
I wasn't sure, but I thought I had.
That's what it is.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I guess I'll give you an opportunity to brag a little bit. Could you give us a summary of your educational credentials, each of the three presenters?
I'm a doctorate in education. I have my superintendency certification from the University of Pennsylvania.
I have a master's in educational technology.
Thank you.
And I have like 10 certifications.
Not a bragger.
Thank you. And she's a certified principal.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions, so that is the only thing on our AP committee agenda tonight. We're moving on to the building project. It's exciting, you're all more than welcome to stay, but for the night, and we'll be able to thank you.
Messed up with you. Sorry. You're good.
calendar, and the other is the West Broad project. So we're going to start off with the calendar.
Proposed 25, 26 school year calendar, very similar to the past 15 years, actually. The first day of school will be August 26th. And as always, the parents want to know, first day of school. The last day of school is June 10th. It's the last day of school. And the holiday break in December is the longest it's ever because of where the holidays fall. And then we have the typical in-service days and other holidays that we've always honored. The one thing I want to just give the board a heads up, we will be putting this on next week's agenda. We're recommending this for next week. But we may come back with a revision later after the new year. We are looking at one of the issues we're finding is not enough time to do the state mandates for staff development. For example, the mandatory child abuse training, the mandatory suicide awareness, the mandatory anti-bullying training. We're fitting it in, but we're losing other time. There may be a recommendation in the future to do 1 or 2 early dismissals, but later in the day early dismissals to get some of that in. So stay tuned on that. But right now, we just want this to go through for next week so parents can have the schedule, because I know a lot of times over the holidays when vacations are planned. So, having said that, any questions from the board?
We're good to move forward.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rowe.
Okay, next item is the West Broad renovation project. For some of you people here were a couple weeks ago when we did the approval for Souderton Hills and Indian Crest. So you'll see this presentation is like those other two. You'll see the numbers broken out and everything else. So I will pass this over to Mr. Taylor to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. One thing I want to highlight, point out that we don't have this slideshow is, we mentioned this before, but we were awarding a grant for $1 million to go towards the cost of the project. So it doesn't show that we're showing you what this project is going to cost, but keep in mind that we borrowed $1 million last year and we did get the public school facilities improvement grant. So that's, we're very excited about that. But we have a whole team from ICS and also our architects PKO here. We're going to put John Young from ICS on the spot for the presentation, and the rest of them will be shared among the seats. John's going to do the presentation, we'll discuss where we are with the process and anticipate approval. One thing that's on the board of the slideshow is that this is slightly different than the projects for the site project or the rest of Souderton Hills. It is more similar to the project in Indian Valley, where the project delivery method is a hybrid approach, where we are doing a guaranteed energy savings agreement program at this school, but we're also doing a public bid portion, which is primarily the addition to the building. And that was part of the information we had in the Act 34 hearing we had not too long ago. So just for those that are trying to understand how this is being done, it's more similar to the Indian Valley project as far as a hybrid approach to the public bid and a guaranteed energy savings agreement versus the last school is approved in the site project. So that Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Appreciate your time to the board, to the public to go through here, talk about what feels to be a very successful and enriching project for the district. We'll talk about the methods of delivery that Mike just articulated pretty well. We'll go into some of the details of that. Talk about the summer's work, as Mr. Braun has talked about, cost breakouts. The implementation plan, very similar, I think, to what you've seen on the previous projects. Again, referencing Mike, there is a PISA side of this, a PISA energy performance contract, along with the publicly bid portions of the addition, the extension of systems into that new addition. Just stepping back a moment, as the board and most of the public should know, this project is really geared towards solving a problem that's been identified for quite some time at West Broad Elementary School. That is that they had modulars that were installed about 1995 as kind of what would typically be a stopgap solution for a need for increased capacity. So those modulars are now pushing 30 years old. They're in need of some repair. It's not typically an investment the district's going to make when they have some time to stand back soberly and see what the best use of the funds are for the educational environment. Additionally to that, with this addition, it allows for the school's current existing structure to be utilized more efficiently. In other words, because of some of the size constraints, because of the modules and so forth, there are portions of the existing building that aren't being used maximally, if you will. So when we're going into the addition of some of the details that we'll talk about here, it'll really highlight that there's going to be areas for better utilization of space. You know, we talk about small group instruction, using that appropriate space, and more controlled space, and more conducive to those type of more modern educational environments. We're talking about a building in large part in some sections that has been touched since the 60s, another section that was new in 2001. So it's really time for some of these changes, and it's a good opportunity to come in and collaborate as we have for the last year and a half or so as our team coming in with the administration, certainly Mr. Taylor, Mr. Ball, very helpful over time, Mr. Brown as well, offering us feedback and information. Principal Hadfield, Ron Dinlocker over there. It's been a real team effort. We're very appreciative of that and feel that those are the best results. So we can do all this work up front to kind of set the stage for a good project. And of course, when we have something that's going to really enrich the learning environment, we're very, very happy about that. So we'll talk through the schedule. We're through the portion of the bidding of the pieces section. The public bids came in last month. They'll all be reflected here. The first work, you know, everything that's planned here should be shovels in ground in the middle, beginning of spring here. We'll talk about that schedule, that phasing plan in a little bit more detail. So as we discussed, we're replacing largely these modulars with an addition. This is a little bit of a drawing. You can see the picture of the existing modulars, and you can see this white section on the top of the building here, planned north, as they say, would be the new addition. You know, we have a major HVAC replacement here too. Again, that was some old, inefficient technology. We're going to bring in natural gas service. We're going to switch to a centralized heating plant where before everything was distributed in all electric resistance heat, which is not tremendously efficient or cost efficient as far as energy use and cost, not particularly efficient. We went through a pretty laborious process of identifying, I think it was 6 or 7 different implementation strategies for the HVAC, all that were reviewed with key members of the team, the administration, and so forth, that really optimized based on the constraints of an existing building that didn't have ductwork and some of these other infrastructure pieces for more modern HVAC systems. What would fit best? A lot of boots on the ground, looking at ceilings, crawling through, and seeing what the opportunities were. Coordinating with PICO, of course, has been a big part of that, and so forth. But addition, HVAC throughout the facility, replacing much of the electric system, the electric service, so forth. I'll get into this a little bit more. As far as the classrooms themselves, it's going to be ceilings, floors, LED lights, and so forth. Gymnasiums getting some refinishing, and of course, doors and windows throughout the building. So really a modernization, an update of the HVAC to a new, more modern, and a better learning environment. So very excited about it. So as far as starting off with the site work, right, so there's going to be some major changes, I should say, to accommodate this new footprint of the building, the new traffic pattern in front for the bus loop, and also for the curb drop-off. As you can see on the bottom of the plane here, this last section of the parking lot doesn't exist now. It's being added. The hope is, with no changes to the existing frontage to the street on West Broad, that we're going to eliminate some of the problems that happen with cars backing up at dismissal time. So this longer run will not only provide the additional parking on the bottom side of the school property here, but also alleviates the problem that we see with cars back up out into the street. So a lot of positives there. You can see in red here the existing footprint of the modular buildings that will go away. Some new hard surface play areas back there, a new driveway that leads to the back of the school with additional parking to the loading dock and so forth, and maintaining that bus loop where it currently is located, just laid out just a little bit differently. Updated site lighting, of course, much needed, and bring some efficiency systems. And we're going to remove the same buildings down at the bottom, the same buildings that are in deteriorating condition as well as part of this project. So that 17,000 or 16,000 plus square feet includes 80 classrooms, specialty group instruction and so forth. It's going to be, to the standards of the GKO team, which are obviously very high. And as you've seen throughout the district, we're going to have brick facade, all these parts and pieces that make it look homogeneous and a beautiful facility for many decades to come. The MEP systems will be extended from the existing new setup that we're going to install. The utilities, as I mentioned, the natural gas service is new, no cost to the district. ECO was able to extend that line through some negotiation at zero cost to the district with the understanding that it's going to be powering some of this new equipment. We're going to have new water service to the site, including fire protective water service, upgraded electrical service, from this many decades old systems. We'll talk a little bit more about that. The HVAC system, is going to be a serious upgrade to the current unit ventilators that are in the classrooms where they're kind of one low level. They don't distribute air particularly well. Obviously, as they say, there's no central plant for heating currently, so there's a central plant that's going to go in. We're going to be able to maintain the systems with outside air, and we're going to be able to maintain the humidity in the way that the district has not been able to do previously. So it's really going to enrich the learning environment. The distribution of air is going to be done because the ceilings in most of the situations inside the building. So it's all these things that the new standards kind of demand. Just step through here. So a very extensive list of items for all these different systems, from the HVAC, plumbing, electrical systems. Classrooms, new LEDs, flooring, ceilings, new casework where those existing unit ventilators will be moved and replaced by these vertical ones that have all these advantages. In the corridor areas, speaking to the due diligence that Mr. Taylor had referenced, we went and scoped a lot of these lines, trying to cut things off the path that we would maybe not see with a shorter timeline and less of an exhaustive set of research. So there was countless, I should say countless, but there was very many instances of bringing in specialty experts to inspect to assure that we have no sudden surprises as time goes on. With that, some of the sanitary sewer lines that run the corridors through the kitchen and out to the street are earmarked for replacement. In the gymnasium, refrigerated floors, stage curtain, and lighting, really giving that thing a nice new polish and a facade update to it. It's going to really show well for the school. In the kitchen, these makeup air cooling systems, they're going to be very important for the environment inside there. A lot of these things are going to be replaced. There is, where we're capable of doing it, retaining some selective equipment where there's still some good life left in some of this kitchen equipment. We're trying to maximize, the efficient use of the funds in this. So it's not just a blanket look. It's, of course, with a lot of detail. Mr. Taylor said again, a lot of rehashing and looking through over time with the group. The upgrade the gang toilet gang is just short for a multi-person toilet. New fixtures, accessibility. Similarly with the classroom, bathrooms, they're going to get updated new fixtures and so forth. Inside each of the schoolrooms that have those out-facing doors, they're going to be replaced, right? They're going to be closed off. Those existing doors that are really security hazard at this point will go in the future along with that new set of windows. So moving through that, those were the approximations of high level of the scope. Of course, we've had more detailed discussions with the administration over time, but these are the costs that are associated with those different areas of improvements throughout the district, or throughout the building, I should say. From the classroom renovation, the ceiling casework, all things we discussed, the renovations of the other zones, and the completely new, efficient HVAC, fire protection, domestic hot water, all these things we've discussed with new lightings, a real refresh and some parity for this building amongst the great jobs that have happened in the district to this point. Other costs that would be incurred would be, of course, would be publicly bid addition construction itself, planning construction happens to be the low bidder. They're also the general contractor that we're using on the Giza side. We have an estimate for abatement. This number is going to get tightened up in a very near term future, an allowance to put in some new fixtures and so forth inside the buildings, inside all the classrooms, these SGIs, and so forth. And building risk insurance, which of course we really protects the district as time goes on for any challenges that might experience the outside of the normal coverage and so forth. So getting to the phasing schedule, you can see highlighted here in the pink, that would be the new addition area. This is the phasing plan that kicks off, as I mentioned, this coming spring and runs through and into the summer of 2027. So about a 2.5-year project to get all these done, the extensive site work. These are our targets we're getting through to meet that schedule. And of course, we'll always be looking for efficiencies as time goes along. We have a lot of folks on our team that are very familiar with working in school environments, very protective of those school environments and the educational environment. So we're always going to be very careful and sensitive to those things, but we're going to be communicating. We're going to have a calendar as soon as it comes out. We'll be talking to Principal Hatfield, Ryan, the other folks at the school, trying to identify times and areas that we can have so that we can keep moving and get you guys to the goal line as fast as possible in a very responsible way. So again, multi-phases here, all to get through that list of work that we had identified earlier. So as far as the award schedule, we did get the notice out about this award, the advertisement to it, the report and so forth, has been provided to the district. We're here tonight to have this review with the committee. The timeline now suggests that we be approved next week, along with the Act 34 and the public bid portion of this, and keep us on that timeline. So very excited about it. Appreciate your time, appreciate you trusting us, and very glad to answer some questions.
Okay, thank you. Just a little clarification for the public. Understand that Westport is a full electric, means heating, air conditioning is all electric. With the new systems going in, we'll have natural gas and a chiller, which will make it a lot more energy efficient and a lot more cost savings to the taxpayers for running that school. Also, the windows, original windows in the school. Couple questions, roofs.
Yes.
What is getting done, what's getting fixed? Because I know I have people out there going to ask that question.
Right. So the only roofs that are being touched as part of this project are the small sections that are adjacent to the gymnasium. Right. The rest of the roofs are still under warranty and ostensibly in good condition. We have done inspection. There is drains that have been problematic. All the drains around the entire roof, and they're original to the building. So as part of this, they will be replaced. And small portions of the roofing that is of a later vintage or older vintage, I should say, are replaced as part of this.
Okay, so are there new penetrations going through?
Yeah, so where the new penetrations are, they'll be patching the curves and so forth. There's no wholesale replacement. It would just be installing a new curve.
Right, so they all understand. You touch it, you break it, you bought it.
Sure.
So there was, and then also DOAS, correct?
Yeah, there's DOAS in the specialty group instruction. Where the unit ventilators are, there is direct outside fresh air. The way that we handle humidity in those circumstances is through what's called hot gas reheat. So you're definitely getting a more appropriate and more measured level of airflow. There is DOAS in different sections of the building, but the unit ventilators themselves would handle outside air.
So new classrooms will have all the ventilators. Existing classrooms replaced also.
Exactly. Move from those horizontal unit ventilators to vertical ones that are ducted. So you have massive upgrade.
Okay, I'll give it on Mr. Rocher.
Thank you for the presentation. The only question I have is, you have phase 2 site demolition and new utilities. What utilities
Yeah, so we're gonna get new electric service, we're gonna have new water service, right? Coming into the building, or coming into, the facility to, support the new infrastructure and the new addition.
And
And eventually the natural gas.
Yeah, there's gas still on the
Yeah, the gas will be the third of the utilities. The timeline on that is just whenever we, it makes the most sense with PICO to bring it, so there's some coordination that goes along that. But as far as having that natural gas service, not really needed until we get the new equipment. Right, so the hot water, boiler is gonna run on natural gas, the domestic hot water will run on natural gas. So those aren't day one items for us, they're more transitional pieces. But the electric is gonna have to be early on, it's gonna have to be, some temporary runs for it, because it's gonna go around where the new addition is gonna go on. And to be clear, that's the first, we're putting our eyes on the addition first. So all the site work that's gonna be done, or any of this, works on new utilities, are all gonna be supported that phasing plan. Right, so the utilities with the electric, right, the whole, electric inside the electric from PPL, natural gas, and then the water service. Again, that water service is gonna support the fire special well.
You mentioned you might need temporary service, is that going to be aerial, or can you still do that?
Yeah, and my understanding was it would come in on poles and on top of the property.
All right, that's all I have.
So on one slide, you mentioned included classrooms and additional instructional and staff areas. So some of those classrooms are replacement for the removal of the module. Can you give a little bit more detail on the classrooms and additional spaces?
Sure.
So right now, currently, using the existing building the way closet spaces, they're kind of bursting at the seams for the most part, and we're also adding an additional special education classroom as well. So kind of to go back to your question, I think there is 7 classrooms right now in the pods, and we're adding the additional one, and the small group ones are for like our reading specialists, like learning specialists, so the spaces like that. And because of where the addition was placed, we're actually taking sort of one original classroom out of there. So that was another one that we needed to house within that addition. So it's about 5,000 square feet more, the new addition, the permanent addition versus where the mods were.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
Just one other for clarification for the public who's looking in there. You'll see that under the one slide where it says cost breakout, furnishing fixtures, equipment, allowances, we have like $500,000. That's for new desks and everything else. Since we're building a large addition, you'll see that number's a little larger than what we saw in the last presentations for Crest and Southern Hills. So with that, I'll ask the public if you have any questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice presentation. 2 questions. Really, forgot to ask you one question. Who's responsible for the roof if damage happens from the roof?
You said if you break it, you bought it.
So
That's on them.
Okay.
And the second question, is my understanding of the GISA, we don't have to take the lowest bid, so the public bid, we have to take the lowest bid. So what criteria do we have the ability to look at the quality of that bidder and exactly look at what criteria to give?
Under the public bid, and you can yes, you have to take the lowest bid. But they'll go through, they'll make sure they meet all the qualifications. Like the GISA, we still do a public bid, you know. So when it comes in, under the GISA, we'll just use plumbing as an example. And you have a plumber that's low, but you go through and you de-scope, which means you check it all out and finds out he's missing a lot of stuff. We don't have to use him. But with the public bid, unfortunately, that's why you see we're probably one of the few school districts that will do a hybrid like this. So we get the best of both worlds, the biggest bang for the buck for the taxpayers.
So to give you enough oversight to
Yes.
make sure.
Yes.
Just add on that, real quick, the administration, the design team, planning team work very collaboratively together. One thing we did with ICS and with SiteLogic on the other two projects is this time around, we demanded more information and really asked to see that. And I can tell you, for all the contractors they have on there, we are taking the lowest responsible bidder, even on the GISA side. So even though you said we didn't have to, we are. Obviously, our intention is to save taxpayers as much money as possible. So, but while they still did everything, we are taking the lowest bidder for all those trades.
Hi. Hi, thank you. So early on in the presentation, you talked about enhancing traffic flow. So does this construction project affect the parking lots? You mentioned something about expanding a new lot and things of that nature.
Yeah, so, as you'll see on the plan here, if I go back, at the top of the plan here, you'll see the circle up front, that's the bus. That's different than what it looks like today. So some of that parking will need to be replaced. That's what you see on the driveway going up top there. But on the bottom here, this is more towards, because I think there's only 3 or 4 buses and they're not coincident to come to that top with less concern. On the bottom, my understanding is that there's concern about traffic backing up at pickup time out into West Broad. With the extension of this, we hope to at least alleviate that. There's no guarantees, but the understanding is that this should be sufficient to take those folks off the road.
Okay, can you point it out to them?
Yeah, I got lost when you said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Extension of this, yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah,
So if you look down here at the bottom,
Right.
you can see that? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that section down there, this whole last section is new.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Yeah, so right now, this area here is used primarily for our play surface. So
Right.
if we take that over, it's going to be replaced back here.
Oh,
So
I
we're not
see.
going to lose any hard play.
Right.
And it also now allows for security to fully go around the site. So that was another kind of township added.
So, yeah, so we lose our Halloween parade. I'm only kidding. My daughter went to school. That's what we did the Halloween. Okay, that makes sense. So then, next question. Thank you. In the best interest of time, April 2025
Yes.
is when the project starts.
Yes.
So with June graduation, what have you, where do the materials go? In other words, are we going to lose some spots? If that has to happen, it has to happen. So you're going to put the materials on the school bus side / teacher parking lot, or where the parents pick up kids?
So the plan would be to do that in maybe a couple of different areas of the site, called lay down areas for the different pieces of it. We're talking in the administration at the school, Pennsylvania, in particular, as part of these discussions. So, and like I say, we have a team here that exclusively works on the school. So it's a notable concern, and certainly it's something that we would pay attention to and try to coordinate around, right? And the priority here is going to be not disturbing this year. There's always going to be disturbance anytime you do something new. But that would be that would be something that we would have discussions on in a meeting to try and identify the best way to not have that. That means the contractors have to keep some of the supplies off-site, keep in the warehouse somewhere. That's something we'll certainly do.
Right. And then the benefit is, because I live up near there, when the high school buses come back, when TSI comes back to Lower Road, they can get back to the barn, so to speak, quicker. And maybe Franconia Township will lose its speed trap location, but I didn't say that. Thank you very much.
You're working for your man,
Sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
I just want quick clarification. Phase 9, it said the nurse/library. What does that entail?
So that is, I believe that should be a summer project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, again, number one goal is to obviously separate contractors from, students.
Mhm.
So there are definitely certain areas where we can't, work and have that happen. So the nurse area is like right up front, there's no way to get in and out of there unless it's summertime. And there's a couple other classrooms in this area here. So we're gonna fully renovate that area, that's also attached to the library as well. So all new finishes, fixtures, paint, casework, lounge furniture, things like that within the library. And same thing with the nurses suite as well.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning.
So just two things. To piggyback on what he said, when you were talking about like picking out the bidders, that's sort of like, I think it's called like the Keystone thing now that the state has, where businesses have already provided their information and they're certified. Co-stars.
That has nothing to do with this project.
No, but I'm saying like comparing, it's similar to that, like.
No, these are all individual bids, so.
Okay.
ICS went out and solicited bids from multiple contractors for this specific scope of work. So this was a state contract where they say, hey, give us a general breakdown or general cost. The specific scopes of work were bid out and solicited from multiple contractors on exactly what we're doing here. And then they scope the work and make sure that they had everything in that scope of work bid out properly. And then we picked the lowest responsible bidder to make sure that they had all scope, we got the best price for the project. So it's like a public bid, except for a public bid. You come here, it's sealed, we open them all up at 1 o'clock, and we record those bids, okay, bid lowest bidder, do scope of work. The benefit of these is once they've done that work, they still have the ability to negotiate down even further. Right? So it gives us the added benefit as a public school district and as taxpayers to be able to ensure not only do we get the lowest price that they came back on that scope of work, we go back and negotiate even more. So it's really benefit for them to make sure that we get the best of both worlds, get the scope of work we need, but also be able to negotiate to get the best price.
Okay, just want to make sure I understood that correctly.
Yeah, there's no co-stars in this project.
Right.
For the cyclonic ones, because of the public bid aspect of these.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was like similar. That clarifies my question. And then the other.
You go to buy.
There's no co-stars for this. This is all for the public bid.
And then the other question I had, one thing I really loved about the Franconia renovations was that all the kindergarten classrooms had bathrooms there, so the kids weren't wandering through the halls. Is that going to be the same with West Broad, or?
Yeah, that's already here. We're just
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Could you go back to the site plan for a second?
The initial one.
Initial slide?
This
That
one?
one?
Yeah.
I've been involved with West Broad since 1985. My kids went through there, my grandkids went through there. I was very involved in the school. One of the best things about that school is it's one of the few the kids can walk. And have to because of the busing rules. And when I first looked at the drawing, I thought, how are the kids going to get up to Broad Street to walk home without crossing the parking lot? And then the more you talked about equipment and the scope and the length of the project, I wondered how that's going to be handled safety-wise through these next, 3 years.
So you're talking about
Walk.
crossing the parking lot entrance?
Well, getting out of the school and up to West Broad Street to the sidewalk.
Yeah, there's a path that goes on the sidewalk, which goes sort of along the border of Lionsgate.
Right, it does now.
Yeah, and if that's gonna be obstructed, we're gonna find a new way, and we'll have staff members assigned. If we have to have our school police officer assigned, someone will be there to make sure they safely can cross over the parking lot. And then there's a secure, crossing guard, I forget what the first intersection is.
All the way to Huntsburg.
Yeah, Huntsburg or West Broad.
But it'd be similar type of thing, but with our staff member on our
So
crossing.
you wouldn't be relying on the board to try to.
No.
Because I know it's difficult.
It's actually hard to find parcels. You want to?
It's just going to be really busy and safety is.
Yeah, and it's safe.
And I would hate for you to say, we're not going to let the kids walk until this is over.
No, first of all, the one reason we need to fix the pickup in the afternoon, a lot of the parents who have walkers drive their kids. So, We have both, but yeah, no, we will make sure that's taken care of.
Any other questions?
Actually, sorry, I do have one more. I just thought.
Okay, you're past your 2 minutes.
Just off the top of my head, I thought of this. So with West Broad and Salford Hills, I guess probably being the last two, I would assume, of the elementary schools to be touched.
Everything is brand new. You go back to Vernfield, which was a brand new school.
Right.
And Oak Ridge.
Right.
And it just did work on the outside of Oak Ridge to fix it. So
Right. So
if you walk through our schools, you see we maintain our schools very well.
right. So with that, I know there was some students, at least at Franconia, that were shifted around for, I think, kindergarten and first grade possibly this year.
Yeah.
Will there be a redistricting then with the new space available, or will?
We have to look at that, that's in our thinking.
Okay.
But right now, for next year, no, probably not.
Right.
We're gonna wait and see how everything plays out.
Okay, because I know there was like two families in my street that one kid went to one school and the other kid had to go to the other school.
That happens
So.
that happens every year right now, with the way things flow.
Right. Okay.
But
As
we'll get at a remedy for next year without redistricting.
right, knowing it's on the target, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
With that, committee, okay with the school? Good? Okay. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
And, sorry.
This is something outside of the agenda, but at the last meeting, you stated that the track at Valley would be addressed at this meeting. Where are we on that?
When we were talking, I misquoted. Okay. When you asked me about the track, I was talking about the track at Crest. We were still waiting for numbers for the resurfacing and stuff like that. But as of right now, the track at Valley was, I know, from a year and a half ago.
It was not enough. For the discussions that happened with Valley, it was, we would look at the Valley track at the same time, we were looking at the Crest track.
Okay. I will go back and talk to administration, but my understanding, and I did talk to Mr. Taylor, and we talked earlier today, is when I told you we would bring numbers that possibly, I was talking about the Crest. But knowing what you're asking now, we'll go back and we'll talk, we'll reconfirm what we're doing in Valley if we're going to do anything. Okay. With that, thank you very much. Stay safe out there. It's a little wet and foggy. Good night.